Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Conor McGregor confirmed he was supposed to fight at UFC 224, and he did it in typical Conor McGregor fashion. When he had made this, whenever he revealed this, he was also in the same tune, saying that if he would have took the fight, he would have surpassed Ronaldo and Messi on the Forbes top paid athletes list. Now, with that being said, you can see right here, here's the top 10 of the Forbes highest paid athletes list of 2018, I believe, or was this for 2017? Either way, it was last year, so I believe it's 2017, because 2018 is not over yet, but either way, this was just released. Up top, you see Floyd Mayweather Jr., $285 million. Holy smokes, that's Floyd Money Mayweather for you. I don't think he's having tax issues anymore making that kind of money. You got Lionel Messi with $111 million. You got Cristiano Ronaldo with $108 million. Then you see Conor McGregor at number 4, $99 million. Now, this is one thing I have to point out. Holy shit, get your money, Conor McGregor. But what I'm pointing out is, look at this. We've got a UFC fighter, Conor McGregor, making more money than LeBron James. That's the one that surprised me. That means Conor McGregor literally made more money last year than the highest paid NBA player and highest paid NFL player. Now, the UFC clearly has not been around as long as the NFL or NBA, but that is some staggering numbers for Conor McGregor. But keep in mind, he didn't just get it from the UFC. He stepped into the boxing ring and made a whole lot of money against Floyd Mayweather on top of his endorsements. So, but man, holy smokes, congratulations to Conor McGregor. And he's even saying if he would have took the fight with Rafael dos Anjos in an interim welterweight title fight at UFC 224, he would have jumped up to number 2. Now, with that being said, let's talk about that for a second. UFC 224 was headlined by Amanda Nunes and Raquel Pennington. It was not a very stacked card, to say the least. You had Kelvin Gastelum versus Jacare on there, but man, definitely wasn't the most stacked card. Now, this is news that Conor McGregor versus Rafael dos Anjos could have potentially been on that card, and holy smokes, what a turnaround that would have been. You know, I think it was like the lowest. It might have been actually UFC 224, the lowest UFC event in quite a few years, I recall. I don't know if it was ever, but I know it was the lowest selling pay-per-view in quite some time, UFC 224. Now, could you imagine going from that to having Conor McGregor on the card? That thing's immediately going to jump up to one of the highest selling. But it would have been interesting to see how Conor McGregor would have done with that card. I know he would have still sold a whole lot, but it probably wouldn't have been, you know, as big as, you know, a Nate Diaz trilogy or something like that. I don't know. Because if you think about it, if Conor McGregor would have been fighting Rafael dos Anjos at UFC 224, he would have been fighting for his 3rd belt. You know, it wouldn't have been the undisputed belt from Tyron Woodley, but it would have been an interim belt, and it would have also, you know, settled something from back in the day. If you recall, Rafael dos Anjos and Conor McGregor were supposed to fight, but Rafael dos Anjos got injured. That's when I believe Nate Diaz stepped up, and then Rafael dos Anjos ended up fighting Eddie Alvarez, defending his belt, but he lost the fight. Eddie Alvarez became champion. So then, now Conor McGregor ended up fighting Eddie Alvarez for the belt, and Rafael dos Anjos ended up being a big-time loser because he not only lost the Conor McGregor fight that he already had, but he ended up losing his belt. But now he's going to be fighting for that welterweight belt against Colby Covington. But he could have had that fight against Conor McGregor, but Conor McGregor, for whatever reason, didn't take the fight. I mean, there wasn't a lot of talk about the fight. There was like 1 or 2 reports. Ariel Helwani reported it, I believe. But there wasn't a whole lot to Conor McGregor versus Rafael dos Anjos for the interim title. There wasn't a whole lot of rumblings about that. But at the same time, if it would have happened, Conor McGregor would have been up to number 2 on the highest paid athletes list. And that's fucking a huge accomplishment for a UFC fighter, man. So with that being said, man, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments about this. As far as Conor McGregor potentially fighting Rafael dos Anjos at UFC 224 for the 3rd belt. What do you think about that? Do you think that would have been, it would have definitely been a good fight, but do you think that it would have been the same thing as Conor McGregor like fighting for the undisputed belt? Because, I mean, if you think about it, right, if he beat Rafael dos Anjos, he's got a belt in 3 weight classes. It would have been at 170. Wouldn't have been the undisputed belt, but it would have still been a belt in a third weight class in the UFC for Conor McGregor. Nobody's ever done that yet. Nobody's ever fought for 3 belts in 3 weight classes, or won 3 belts in 3 weight classes in the UFC. GSP's talked about doing it recently. He said he might go down to lightweight and fight for the title to be the first to do that. But Conor McGregor could have been the first to make UFC history if he would have fought RDA at UFC 224. But it didn't happen for whatever reason. With that being said, let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. And as always, thanks for checking out this video. If you want to join the notification gang, make sure you hit subscribe and also hit the bell next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. And if you want to help this channel reach its full potential, consider hitting the PayPal link in the description or going to patreon.com/fulltimemma and becoming a patron. I'm out.
This is #1 bullshit.